Okay, guys, how you doing? Welcome to week 4. Here we are. Okay, so I know this is a little early, but I wanted to get this out early because there's been some questions coming in, and I want you guys to be able to really know exactly where you're at and where we're going here coming up into week 4. So week 3, excuse me, excuse me, week 3 we had this Project 2 Phase 2 concept design begin. And I just want to make a quick comment on that. This is the sketch stage still, guys. And if you take a look at the preview for this, um, a few have gone into their digital renderings, and that's a mistake. And I also want to mention that this is the sketch stage, so it's really, really important that you guys follow this right here. What is due? So this is basically what's due. You know, the final for the phase. But this week for week 3, this is what was due. Okay, so for those of you who received comments that you're not getting enough sketches in, or maybe you're not coming at this at the right approach, it all has to do with the fact that we're in sign and symbol. So a lot of people are giving me these sketches of the pictorial representations of the logo, and that's not what this class is about. The class is sign and symbol, meaning that we're creating and we're communicating with signs and symbols. So the Olympic logo shouldn't be pictorial. It should be symbolic. It should be a symbolic representation of the encoded meaning for all the research that you guys have done in phase 1. Okay, so now let's move on to week 4. Oh, one other thing I wanted to address here in week 3. Let me show you something real quick, because this came in, a couple of questions came in on this. But week 3, we have right here, we have, okay, this assignment, presentation of phase 1 and 2, it's an assignment, but you can see it's got a 0 weight balance. This is basically for you to make sure that you schedule your meetings for week 4. Okay, most have, I think, boy, it looks like 2, 4, 5, most of the class has scheduled a meeting. If you haven't, you got to get that in soon, because come Monday, it's going to be really difficult to try to schedule meetings and hold meetings at the same time. So, plus the time, it's getting filled up. So, I mean, if I'm not able to, I remember I said in last week's announcement, if you don't schedule early, I can't guarantee I can accommodate your schedule. So, there's, I think, 20 people in the class. So that's the reason why. All right, let's jump to week 4. So in week 4, we have this concept design final. So what exactly is the concept design final for week 4? Here we are, week 4, phase 2, concept design final. So as we can see, this week you have solidified your visual interpretation down to a minimum of 3 options. That means that for this phase 2, you will take all your sketches from last week and you'll choose the 3 most effective sketches. Now, what does that mean? That means that you need to show the logo, your 3 final sketches for your logo, and your pictograms. Okay, so it should be reasonable to assume that there should be a set of pictograms associated with each logo. The reason I say that is because the pictograms can take on the same visual language as the logo itself. So it wouldn't make sense to develop one set of pictograms and expect to be able to use that for each of the 3 logos. Okay, I hope that makes sense, because you'll follow the same visual cues, creating consistency and harmony in the presentation between your logo and your pictograms. So for this phase 2 concept design, you're gonna boil it down to your final 3 logos. Okay, these are still sketches, guys. Okay, so sketch out your final 3 logos, presumably based on the recommendations and comments that I had made during week 3, as well as depending on when your meeting is, depending on the comments in that, but most definitely based on the comments from what you had submitted in week 3. All right, so what I would say in week 3 is, I would say something like, okay, so here's what I'm thinking about this, and you should do this with this, and think about this, okay, and then take your best ideas and move forward. So what this is week 4 is saying, take your 3 best logos, sketch them out to the final stage, not digital, sketch, and then give me your final pictograms associated with that logo, all right? Then you're gonna write a report on each of the 3, okay, giving your written rationale for each of the 3. Then in one multi-page PDF, you'll submit all 3 logos, all 3 reports, and all 3 sets of pictograms. So in other words, your idea number 1 will be based on this. Here's your logo, here's your report on the logo, your written rationale, here's your pictograms, and here is your written rationale associating the pictograms with the logo. Okay, you'll do that for your final 3 logo choices. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and let me see. Then if we go over here, there's back to week 3 assignment, the presentation. Nothing is due there, but week 4, this assignment presentation of phase 1 and 2, that's where I grade the fact that we went through with the meeting. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to post anything here, but to be sure, if you want to post your the presentation that you gave me, just post it right in there. Okay, that'll remind me quickly that, oh yeah, I remember this. We talked about this, this, and this, and then you can just get in there and give you your grade. Now, if you schedule a meeting and went through it with the meeting, you're going to get 100% on this. Okay, so the posting it there is just a reminder of what we talked about. Okay, again, so if you do hold your meeting, you will get 100% on this. Phase 2, concept design final. That's what I just talked about that, phase 2, concept design final. And then as you notice, there's no discussion for week 4, and that's because we have the meetings during week 4. Okay, we do have the presentation, takes 3 to communicate, phase 2, concept design finalize, final, and then assignment, that's the presentation that you give. Okay, hope that makes sense, guys. Now, again, I just want to reiterate, a lot of students, remember, the name of the class is sign and symbol. Okay, so pictorial representation. So in other words, if you are saying mountain and you're drawing a mountain, you're approaching it wrong. It should be an abstract symbol or a sign or an abstract encoded symbol of a mountain. Okay, and that's the point of the class, is we're trying to communicate without direct pictorial representation. All right, hope that makes sense, guys. Let me know if there's any confusion at all. Definitely get with me right through this messages board right up here, right here. And a lot of students have been asking questions there, and I think it's a really super effective way to communicate, better than email, I think. So be it. All right, guys, welcome to week 4 early. And again, I wanted to get this out so that you guys have a good idea of what we're looking at. And then just to jump ahead a little bit, week 5, we start putting our phase 3 design development. That's where we start developing the final booklet for the Olympic branding. Okay. All right, guys. Any questions? Give me a holler. Thanks.